What's going on, all you beautiful Netrunners? Welcome back to the second game of round one of the regional tournament based out of Toronto here at Legends Warehouse in Vaughan. This was a 34 player tournament featuring some very interesting Valencia and ETF Breaker Bay based decks. And so this again is the second matchup between myself and Maria. This time I'm playing Noise and she's playing RP after having lost to her Haley Kaplan deck in game one. So I took a mulligan because she decided to keep her hand, and the matchup between Noise and RP tends to be a difficult one for me, so I wanted to make sure that I had the best start possible. She takes her first click installing over R&D, and her second click to install inner remote, and lastly to hedge fund to give her a total of 9 credits, which is always a fantastic start. So myself, I played cash, milling 1 card off the top of her deck and taking a net gain of 2 credits. And second click to install a data sucker. Third click to draw. And 4, installing Sahasrara, using up 3 MU on the first turn. I didn't really want to run just in case. I didn't have an I've had worse at this point, so that would have been a little bit too risky. So tossing the turn back to her. She reses a pad campaign in that remote. Installs a piece of ice over HQ. And third click taking a manual draw. Sorry, second click taking a manual draw, and third click was to install over archives. Obviously, resing pad campaign wasn't a click action. My fault, sorry. So my first action is to draw a card. At this point, you really want to start to utilize the Sauce Rara credits because I don't have much money. So I took a click and played a sure gamble. Sorry, I took a credit and played a sure gamble. She gains 1 off of her already resed pad campaign, giving her a total of 9 credits. Draws a card. And takes a manual 2 credits. So first click naturally for me as an anti player is to draw another card, trying desperately to find that wild side. So that's 2 draws now. Third click to install a Gravedigger, using these Sauce Rara tokens, milling another card off of R&D. Those recurrent credits are so handy when you find Sauce Rara very early. Immediately getting rid of the Gravedigger and installing a Data Sucker to mill yet another card. And the reason why I did that, knowing that I'm taking a loss on money, the reason why I did that is because I already felt like I was behind against RP, and so I kind of decided to go into milling as early as possible to try to get rid of any of her, I guess, more important cards in the deck. So she goes ahead, installs a card in a new remote, installs a piece of ice in a new remote, and then installs a card behind that, advancing it immediately for her 3 clicks, tossing the turn back to me. I play I've Had Worse to draw 3 cards on click 1, desperately searching for those important Aesop's Wildside and Pancakes, aka Chronotype. There's the Wildside there for $3, dropping me down to 4. It always sucks playing Wildside not having money. However, because Sahasrara is out, I consider that to be good enough to play Wildside under 5 credits. Drawing a card and finding the Aesop's Pawn Shop and playing that right away. So now we've got the Econ engine going. She opts to score out the Nisei, spending all 3 clicks to advance. Nisei, the counter on that agenda lets her end the run whenever she wants to. But at this point, I already decided I'm not going to be doing too much running, so she can keep that counter as long as she wants. So first click is mandatory wild side. I already pawned the cash, gaining myself 3 credits. And spending the 2 Sauce Rara tokens and 1 of my own tokens to install a Mimic, running at Archives, straight into an Enigma, losing myself a click and being forced to bounce. I know I just said I wasn't going to run, but hey, it's early game. Why not take a shot at it, see what happens, make her spend some money. And discard the second Sauce Rara. Sometimes I do play 2 on the field because it gives me an extra thing to eat away with the Aesop's pawn shop, or to pawn away, I guess. But obviously, already at this point, I'm having memory issues. So she installs another card over the Enigma, paying 1. Second click to install a card off table, or off the mat, I guess I should say. Or that was the third click, my bad. So I pawn the Data Sucker, gaining another 3 credits. Data Sucker can't really do much if I can't get into a central server. So first click was wild side, mandatory. Second was a sure gamble, bringing my credit total to 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 12. And 1 Sauce Rara token to install a Data Sucker. Last click was a draw, and it was just an Aesop's pawn shop, which I had to drop again. She reses a second pad campaign at the end of my turn. Decides to play them on top of each other because she's not going to ice them. So just treat those as 2 separate remotes. And as you can see, I played my cards ever so nicely to avoid blocking that beautiful Throne Runner Matt, courtesy of Matt. Shoutouts to Matt again for designing those. Got a lot of compliments on those at this tournament. So here comes the Sundew Love. I pawn the Data Sucker for another 3 credits. Wild side to draw 2. Install another Gravedigger, milling a card, and spending my 2 Sauce Rara tokens for the turn. Click 3 to run at R&D. Straight into a Lotus Field. And at this point, it's pretty interesting because I know I don't play Yogg, and I obviously don't play Force of Nature because that card is terrible. My only code gate breaker, unfortunately, is Crypsis. So at this point, I'm kind of starting to sweat a little bit, knowing that I need to find Crypsis in order to make any significant runs on the central servers, and pass my turn over to her, dropping viruses because deja vu, obviously. So she installs another remote, which happens to be another Sundew, pushing me further behind. And drops a card into Archives. So the good thing here is that she's not installing any agendas, which makes me feel like I'm milling a bunch of them as noise. So now she's forced to dig for them. I get my Crypsis out, mill another card. So Crypsis ends up costing me 3 because of Sauce Rara. And I manually boost Crypsis. Oh, the pains of not having Grimoire. Draw a card. And have to drop down Corroder and a second Parasite. So at this point, she is gaining 6 credits. Well, sorry, 2 credits for her turn, but 2 credits whenever my turn begins off those Sundews. So 6 credits, like I said. Math is hard sometimes. So drawing a card, drawing another card, and again that tips me off to the point that she's not able to find any agendas. And so that means that I must have milled at least a couple of them. Last click is to install another remote off camera. And gains money for Sundews. And forced to drop even more cards. So I pawn the Gravedigger. Give myself another $3, putting me to a total of 18 to her 12. Found the pancakes finally. Adjusted chronotype. So now Wildside is free. Don't have to waste a click on that. Install the Imp using the credits from Sasrara. And milling yet another card off of her. Slimming R&D. And drop my second pancakes. It's funny, I didn't even realize there were pancakes in that image until people started calling it that. Turn flips back to Maria. She makes her money. She's got her econ up. Double ices that Sundew remote. Triple ices the Sundew remote, which is kind of a tell. So I'm going to triple ice this because I know that your only breaker right now, aside from Mimic, your only non-static breaker is Crypsis, who can only get through at this point 2 pieces of ice without getting trashed. So if I triple ice it, chances are you're not going to be able to get through. There's probably a Caprice in that server. So I dropped the Parasite on that Enigma because I have Grimoire out. It comes in with 1 token on it. Enigma has a strength of 2. Make a run at R&D using Crypsis and breaking through that Lotus Field. Imping Jackson Howard, so huge as a noise player when you can see the Jacksons before your opponent can. Watching that draw, showing her exactly what I had. It was just a Grimoire though, so that's fine. And having to discard that to end turn. So she drops the Enigma, freeing up a little bit of MU for me, so that's okay. Installs a new face down card over Archives. And triple ices Archives. Oh, gotta love it. So that sends the turn back to me. I pawn the Imp, for another 3 credits. Deja Vu for 2. Deciding to pull back Gravedigger and a single cash. Use 1 Sasrara token for the cash. Net gain of 4 credits due to Sasrara and Grimoire. And then install the Gravedigger, which now comes in with a token. Immediately... Nope. Keep the token. Oh, immediately burn the token to mill a Nether card. So Gravedigger is fantastic in noise with Grimoire because he is able to mill 2 cards in 1 action. Well, I guess it would be 2 actions because you have to spend the token, but you know what I mean. Installs another card in a remote off screen because RP has so many assets to play. It happened to be a Jackson, which she immediately popped. Bring back 2 face down cards, 3 face down cards. Which means she opted to leave the Imp Trash Jackson in archives. Gets rid of her own Sundew, giving me a Gravedigger token because it is a trash, and installs and advances in that triple stack remote. So punt and cash because it has no use once you've taken the money off of it. Wild side draw. Spend another 2 credits to Deja Vu. This time going for a Gravedigger and a cash. Gotta mix it up a little bit. Just kidding. Install that Gravedigger. Comes in with a token off of Grimoire. It's also free due to Sasrara, and mills a card from her deck because it is a virus. And then installing another cash, having to pay 1 of my own credits this time to install it. So it's only a net gain of 3 with Grimoire out. But it does mill another card off of her deck. And then 1 Gravedigger token for that extra mill. So she starts her turn, triple advances a second Nisei, making the score 4-0 for RP. I pawn my cash for a total of 17 credits to her 25. Install Imp using Sasrara, which is another mill. 3 tokens this time because of Grimoire. Another click to prep Crypsis and run R&D, hoping to trash another card. Imp Trash, that was a second Jackson. And last click to run and trash Sundew using my own money, but gaining me 2 Gravedigger tokens. So another 3 potential mills coming up. gains money for pack campaigns. Counts how many cards left in R&D. That's always a fantastic sign. Corp is at 4 points. So interns. Installs a face down card. So with a double click. And we were just checking that it stays face down if it was already face down in archives. Unless otherwise stated. And just takes a manual credit. So that fresh imp that only had one use gets pawned. Frees up some MU, gains $3. Wild side to draw 2. Spending 1 immediately on cash to mill another card and gain 4 credits. And then 3 clicks for Gravediggers to mill 3 cards in a row. Start of her turn, she has to draw, so that leaves 2 cards left in R&D. And I dropped the I've Had Worse because I don't really need to run at this point. Not worried about taking net damage. I have good draw ready from wild side, so just had to choose a card to drop and keep viruses in hand. So she installs in the remote and double advances. Reminder, she's up 4-0. So start of my turn, I opt to go for wild side before the pawn shop. Pawn a Gravedigger. Not sure why when cash is on the field. Oh, that's why. Deja vu to get another Gravedigger back. It's funny, I played the game, I didn't know what I was doing. So that's a Deja Vu. I lost the Gravedigger, forgot I put it in my hand by accident. So Deja Vu to 1 Gravedigger. And an Imp. So that mills 1 card. Comes in with a token due to Grimoire, mills a 2nd card. And then a Sure Gamble. Just because. And she's out of cards. I was totally expecting at this point, and we discussed it after, I was totally expecting her to have interns a Jackson. But for some reason she did go for, I guess, the agenda instead, forgetting maybe that she had the 2 Nisei counters to stop me from running anyways. But overall, a fantastic round 1 match in which I was very, very happy to take the split instead of the 0-4.